The Churchville Schoolhouse opens the door to the best education in history. Visitors to the Churchville Schoolhouse take a step back in time to watch history unfold in a restored National Register of Historic Places property that dates to the Civil War era. Students of today walk in the footsteps of local farm children from the early days of DuPage County for an authentic living history experience led by a schoolmarm of the early 1900s. A visit to the Churchville Schoolhouse is hands-on, educational, and fun. Participants use slate chalkboards and McGuffey readers for the day's lessons. And children will be asked to follow proper classroom etiquette. Reading, writing, and arithmetic are practiced, and students test their skills during an old-fashioned spelling bee. And of course, no school day is complete without recess featuring games of the early 1900s. The schoolhouse is a popular place for scouts and day camps too. Group visits can also be arranged for service clubs, tour groups, and other adult organizations. The Churchville Schoolhouse Living History program is operated by the Elmhurst Historical Museum. Call the museum today to book a field trip or find out more information. Call 630-833-1457 or visit our website at churchvilleschoolhouse.org. The Churchville Schoolhouse is waiting to open the doors for your school or community group. Plan a memorable learning experience today for the best education in history.
Good afternoon. Our thanks to the York Orchestra. Will you all please stand for our national anthem? Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you and good afternoon. On behalf of the York faculty and staff, I want to extend a warm welcome to the families and friends of our graduates, to the Board of Education, to Superintendent Pernod, to our honored guest, Mr. Ken Paulson. But most of all, let's give a loud, rousing hand to the York High School class of 2014. We also want to recognize 3 of our own faculty members who are graduating this year into retirement: Mr. David Agin, Mrs. Judy Pollack, and Mrs. Susan Quattrini. Would you please stand so that we can recognize you? Today, you will hear from our superintendent as he accepts this class of graduates. You will hear from Mr. Bloom, a member of the Board of Education, but most important, as a father whose own daughter is graduating today. We are honored to hear from Mr. Ken Paulson, a York graduate who is a member of the inaugural class of the York Distinguished Alumni. But students, the adults, recognize that as inspiring as we try to be today, that you will probably remember most what you hear from the words and voices of your classmates, heard today through film and through song and through words. Please sit back and enjoy this program. This day is about you. One of the graduates just asked me if we thought about moving the time of graduation due to the start of the Blackhawks game. Seriously? Yeah, we did. But it seemed a little unwieldy at this point, to have to let 5,000 people know. But I promise we will be finished in time for you to get home to see the third period. Go Hawks. You will. Seniors, 4 years ago, when we welcomed you on your first day at York, I shared with you the words, "This is York," a phrase that you now understand comes to mean and describe the history and culture of this great school. And I told you that over the next 4 years, you would help to shape this school in your own unique way, and you have. Each of you individually has had an impact on our school community. Although honestly, right now, it's hard to think about you as individuals, because looking out at 650 people dressed exactly the same, it's tough. But every graduating class does have its own characteristics. This class represents some of the best and brightest thinkers, artists, and talented athletes ever to walk the halls here. But something else clearly stands out for me and for the faculty about the class of 2014: gratitude. Students, you are young men and women that know the importance of saying thank you to those who have made a difference in your lives. Teachers, department chairs, coaches, administrators, we've all been receiving thank you notes, not just this week and today, but we hear thank you from you on a daily basis. The staffs at Navy Pier and on the Odyssey, our bus drivers, the custodians, the cafeteria staff all say, this is the nicest group of students they have ever encountered. They are simple words, thank you, but when you say them genuinely and naturally and regularly, that gratitude translates to evidence of your character. And we didn't teach you that. That's something you learned at home. So if I could turn now to the parents and the families who are here. From our staff, thank you for raising such talented and kind sons and daughters. Thank you for entrusting them to us and sharing them with us for the last 4 years. And students, this is a good time for you to thank your parents. Parents, would you please stand so we can recognize and thank you? Stand up. Just a few weeks ago, we held our first senior family night called Letting Go, where we talked about this important and, yes, a little bit emotional time of transition between high school graduation and beyond. And graduates, you are probably feeling some mixed emotions today, but you're not alone. We feel the same way. We will miss you. And today, we will let you go, and you're ready. Please come back to visit, but not on Monday. That's too soon. And on Monday morning, you're going to be very busy. You're going to want to jump out of bed like you're about to be Plaskoed and clean your room and offer to help your parents around the house. Yes, hear that from your parents. It's awesome. Don't come back on Monday. We do hope you come back, and I hope that you continue to live your life full of gratitude. It's who you are. And could I give you just a little final advice? Continue to work hard as you enter college and the workplace. Search for a career where your work will inspire you. It will serve others. Search for work that you love. And on behalf of your parents, work that pays you well and provides you with insurance benefits. Students, you are finding your voice, but please use your voice to stand up for those who cannot be heard. My advice is to advocate for not just what you believe you deserve, but for what everyone deserves. Please continue to say good morning and hello to the people you meet. It may be the only time they hear it. It will make me happy to think that you made their day. And continue to build community in your dorms, college classrooms, and workplaces. In that way, we hope that you will continue to do what you've helped to build here at York. I'm so proud of you, each and every one of you, and I hope that you recognize that your families could not be more proud of you than they are today. So whatever it is that you've been asking for, money, the car, that extravagant gift, my annual advice, trust me, this is the day to ask for it. Seniors, we are excited to see where you're headed from here, but more important, we are so proud of who you are today. This is York. I wish you the very best.
Hello, I'm Jillian Maher.
And I'm Mike Pasternak. As main producers of YTV, we both found video as the best outlet to express ourselves. We wanted to make one final video that would highlight the experiences of all students at York And in order to do that, we had to put in a ton of time after school and throughout the day, gathering footage and editing the final product that you will all see today.
We'd like to give a special thanks to Mr. Chambers for all of his support. We'd also like to thank Jack Cronin and Anna Coletta for helping make this video possible. We put a lot of hard work and effort into this video, so we hope you all enjoy it. And to the class of 2014, we wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors and hope that when you look back on your high school experience, you can watch this video and remember how truly amazing York was. Thank you and enjoy the video.
York has been a place with amazing opportunities and a place for me to find myself.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my coaches, all my teammates for putting up with me.
What I'm going to miss most about high school is definitely the basketball team. I'm really going to miss the teamwork and the bond we've shared for all these years.
I'm going to miss the rush that you get when you dive in the water and the fun you have with your teammates.
The teachers here are always willing to help, no matter what the circumstance, no matter what.
In high school, everyone searches for where they fit in. I found my place, and it has been an amazing 4 years thanks to YTV.
It's that first walking through the doors and looking all your decorations at night and seeing all your hard work come together and being able to show it off to everybody in the school and your friends.
I think what I'm going to miss most about York is the community feeling.
The teachers and the students who just daily really worked hard to make sure that everyone around here succeeded.
What I'm going to miss most about cross country is the whole team camaraderie.
Try hard, work as hard as you can, because as long as you keep pushing, you can get over anything, you can accomplish anything.
I can honestly say, after 4 years here, I love the school.
I'm going to miss seeing all the people I've grown to love over the past 4 years. All the people who've helped me make this the best 4 years of my life.
Gentlemen, welcome and hello. My name is Joseph Hansel, and parents, are you ready to rumble? It's a bit cliched, but your class of 2014, I did it. I mean, we did it. Parents, you should be proud, and hopefully you brought some snacks for the ceremony.
Now let us not stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne.
So let's begin. Mind you, this speech is a tamer version of its past self. The original edit included roughly 25 minutes of pyrotechnics culminating in a big fireworks display, Mr. Urbanski leading the Jesse White tumblers up and down the aisles in an acrobatic showcase, and a man in a grimace costume performing slam poetry to the beat of horchata being mixed. However, due to time constraints, they simply asked me to speak. Across my years at York, I've noticed something. Walking through the halls, one student learns and hears more about their peers than they would have liked. Some of the more horrifying things one can hear come, surprisingly, as the year draws to a close. Yeah, I got the Citizenship Award for citizenship in 8 countries. Oh, you're only getting a 97% in AP Spanish Astrophysics? You can only count your GPA on one hand? Loser. Class of 2014, you legitimately might be the best I've ever seen, but this senseless parading of accomplishments? That is just BS. Braggart syndrome. Now chuckle. Chuckle like the 9th graders I know you are. But this crippling disease is deadly for academic environments. Typically, the cure is throwing ASO trophies at your kids and shouting, "All right, we get it, you're special!" But that's just a Band-Aid, a temporary solution to a deeper issue. Regrettably, as of late, modern society has become nearly obsessed with recognizing achievements only at their face value. Intrinsic motivation is out, and it seems that rewards, both meaningless and meaningful, have become the new black. Students have lost their drive. That's the unsettling academic environment we're hurtling towards. I'd like to share with you a quote from 16th century theologian and renowned sociologist Snoop Dogg. Within one of his timeless classics, Mr. Dogg preaches, "Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind." Word. To most, this quote shows only the pervasive greed of our generation. However, when closely examined, it's clear that Snoop is really merely reflecting on his achievements, saying they're always at the forefront of his thought process. So, let's look at what achievement really is. Are you ready, kids? I can't hear you. Oh! So achievement. Achievement is a multifaceted illusion. We spend months, maybe years, or maybe we start Sunday at 8 p.m. I don't judge. That time is spent chasing after achievement. However, true satiation of our need to achieve evades us when we fight for a title and not for the experience. If what I'm saying is wrong to you, then sue me. Not actually. And by all means, you have my approval to brag. However, if not, then there is a chance that your braggart syndrome might be a little more than just BS. Achievement isn't just a 5 on an AP test or the never-ending pursuit of some sort of acceptance to some sort of Yale, Harvard, Frankenstein hybrid. Achievement is no impossible dream either. Achievement is entirely dependent on the efforts you expend while fighting for your goals and the true motives behind your actions. Achievement can be something as simple as actually learning the words to our fight song. I mean, guys, come on, it's not that hard, and it's honestly a little weird to only sing, "Hail to York, my dear beloved Dukes." Hey! Achievement is not succumbing to the easy road. Example, I am a 6'3" ginger behemoth of an individual who has a chest that is literally concave on itself, a quasi-burgundy beard, and the best you can come up with is, "Hey Hansel, where's Gretel?" I implore you, please work towards creativity and originality, 2 key facets of achievement, and do not fall on the laurels of your past successes. York is quite literally a breeding ground for success. Teachers, administrators, Mrs. Luca, and the smoothie lady are all working to ensure your success in the classroom. And we thank them all for that, especially Mrs. Luca. And this academic environment demands a little more of each student. Example, for senior superlatives, instead of asking something superfluous like, who is most likely to spontaneously combust? We asked who was most likely to cure cancer. Our senior prank was coming to school late. Then actually going to class. Okay. We hold ourselves to a higher standard, and our prospects are brighter because of it. You fought hard for the past 4 years. Well, 3.5, but let's not talk about second semester. Parents, that awkward laugh is why your kid won't let you look at Power School anymore. Your efforts, both past and future, will not go unnoticed so long as you strive for achievement's sake, and always hold yourself to a higher Duke Fuel-sponsored standard. Feel free to brag. But I do ask you.
You think that bragging is your ally? I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see achievement till I was a grown man, and by then it was nothing to me but boring.
I'd like to conclude with a quote from William Faulkner. Don't groan, somebody likes him. Within the Sound and the Fury, on the topic of a simple pocket watch, Faulkner writes, "I give you the mausoleum of all hope and desire. I give it to you not that you might remember time, but that you might forget it now and then for a moment and not spend all of your breath trying to chase it." So, class of 2014, this 14 us, I ask that you remove the shackles of false achievement and work on your own accord to achieve what you find most meaningful. There is no time limit on when you can or cannot benefit your community. Deadlines, for all intents and purposes, are merely expiration dates on your achievements. There isn't a sudden moment when you've reached some form of achievement nirvana. Instead, there is achievement daily that allows us to grow. Spend time pursuing your legitimate interests, expanding your horizons, fight for your rights, and achievement. Because each student here today is capable of and entitled to achievement. Thank you for allowing me to pour some feigned philosophy and pretentious pomposity onto the great bowl of trick cereal that we call high school. I've been incredibly humbled with the opportunity to spend the past 4 years with you all and to call all of you my classmates. York, just remember, achieve for yourself, your family, the betterment of your community, and the rest we can just pin on the BS. Now freeze! Everybody clap your hands!
Let's go! The highway's calling. The sun is shining. Let's get in the car and just remember. Let's go. Kelly drove on all of our road trips. She believed in listening to the highway. You start driving and keep driving. There's no stopping till Kelly says you've arrived. You're not doing it right. Doing what? You're not in it. What? You're not in the moment, Sam. Talk about what it felt like. What did it feel like? You remember. Feeling the wind blowing your hair. You're not even trying. I am! Try harder. Picking a road and going anywhere. We're heading south, or maybe west. We don't know much. We're making up the rest. Tear up the atlas. Don't read the road signs. Driving for the sake of driving anywhere. That's freedom. Freedom. Why are you such a stick in the mud? I'm not a stick in the mud. Do you even realize how epic this weekend is going to be? There are like 6 parties, and I'm taking this lecture called Men, and you have to come. I'm on vacation. I don't really feel like going to class. All right, what do you want to do? I don't know. Samantha Brown, do you see that fork up ahead? Yeah. Well, one way leads to my school and the other leads somewhere else. Which way do you want to turn? Which way do you want to go? If you don't make a decision, we're going to hit that house, left or right? Hold on, I'm checking the map. Maps are for the brain dead, left or right? Left! Very slow, Brown. So where are we going? I have no idea. Counting the miles as we go past. The tank is full, the sun is high. Knowing that every mile could be our last. Just watching the day go by. We won't look back. We never will. We've come too far. We'll drive till we hit Nashville. Nashville, freedom, freedom, freedom. make it right?
In life, Sam, think big. What do you want?
I want to get my license.
Bigger!
I want the deafening sound of driving fast with the windows down.
More!
I want to break the rules and do something unexpected.
Good! I want Arby's.
I want to hold on to this moment forever.
I want to go skinny dipping in the ocean!
I want to drive forever! And I'm almost starting to feel it, the way she took a day and made it special. The long highways, the cheap rest stops, the last minute, get in the car and let's go.
Let's go. Pick a road, pick a highway, any road is going my way. Let's go, live it up with no complicated philosophies, no college, no career, no kids, no fancy house, no. Let's go! Any road but the one we're on, no college, no career, no screaming kids, no mortgage, driving anywhere, just driving straight into the dawn. That's freedom.
Kelly driving, me riding shotgun. Just a couple girls out on the highway with no road map and no curfew. Just two girls with nowhere we have to be. Now she's laughing and I start laughing. It's so real and so like a memory. And the sun is so bright that I'm squinting and it feels like I found freedom. Driving fast, the radio playing.
Yeah.
Windows open, singing like we're rock stars.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When our next speaker went to York, things were a bit different than they are today. There were split school shifts, a student smoking area, and it was a completely different building. But some things remained the same, namely the success of the boys' cross-country team and the York High newspaper. It was with these two programs that Mr. Paulson attended the University of Missouri to study journalism. From there, he went on to become one of the founding editors of the newspaper USA Today, a publication he returned to 22 years later to serve as editor-in-chief. He currently is a dean at the College of Mass Communications at Middle Tennessee State University and is the president of the First Amendment Center. It is my distinct honor to welcome back York alumni from the class of 1972, Mr. Ken Paulson.
Thank you all very much. It is great to be home, and thank you for those gracious remarks. I have to tell you, you guys know how to do commencement. As a university dean, I get to sit on my fair share, and I've never seen student presentations as vital or vibrant as those. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Being a York graduate means the world to me. It really does. And I am honored to be able to return for this special day, and especially with my wife Peggy, a fellow graduate who was my date to the 1970 Girls Club dance. We played records in those days, black vinyl things, kind of a primitive iPod. Ask your parents about them. First of all, my heartiest congratulations to all of the graduates here, and a special salute to the parents, friends, and family members who have joined us for this celebration. I love the fact that we're standing here in the Joe Newton Fieldhouse. In 1972, Coach Newton called the track coach at the University of Missouri, and he said he had a promising young runner who desperately wanted to go to the University of Missouri School of Journalism, but couldn't afford it. Well, that conversation led to a scholarship for me and in turn a rich and rewarding career in journalism. I am truly indebted to both Coach Newton and this extraordinary high school. It changed my life just as it will change yours. So could I get a show of hands? Everybody who is on this year's cross-country or track team, could you raise your hand, please? Yes. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for not breaking my school record in the 200-meter dash. Oh, I can see the looks of disbelief. I can see that. I didn't say I did it recently. My name's up there, and I hope, Joey, you don't regard that as BS syndrome. That's not bragging syndrome. I live for that record. I have to tell you, please don't break it in the future. I truly envy all the students in this room. You are at this wonderful jumping off point, about to enter college or work, and it's incredibly exciting. You also have these nagging concerns, questions like, am I going to major in the right field? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? You might want to ask yourself questions like, what excited you growing up? What quickened your pulse more than anything else? If it was Legos, maybe you're a future engineer. If it was a chemistry set, perhaps you're a future scientist. I'm sometimes asked what got me on the path to journalism, and I have the world's most embarrassing answer. Superman. Superman, absolutely. I love the TV show and comic books from the time I was probably 6 years old. And after all, who was Superman when he wasn't leaping tall buildings in a single bound? He was Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great American newspaper, who, by the way, helped lead the fight for a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and the American way. I knew I was never going to be Superman, but Clark Kent, that looked like a possibility. That said, I would not, in your shoes, worry if you haven't seen exactly that spark, exactly that thing that told you what you're going to do for the rest of your life, because your next few years are all about discovery, trying on different roles, and most important, figuring out where your true talents lie. I have to tell you that when I was about to graduate from law school at the University of Illinois, I found myself wavering between a career in journalism and a career in law. And an extraordinary opportunity came up, just like the opportunities that will come your way, those that will help you guide your own future. The Public Defender's Office in Champaign-Urbana had a program in which a third-year law student could actually practice law, defending criminal clients, criminal defendants, in the courtroom, interviewing witnesses, presenting the case at trial, arguing to a jury. And I have to tell you, after 1 year in that job, I had a perfect record. Everyone I defended went to jail. And so journalism it was. Sometimes life gives you a nudge in the right direction. You know, of course, each of you will have different passions and interests, but there's also something you will share. When you were born and the kind of world you were born into. I'm a baby boomer. Most of the parents here are part of Generation X. But you are part of something entirely different and potentially very special. You're the Google generation. The year most of you were born, Stanford students Larry Page and Sergey Brin began work on a new search engine called Backrub. 2 years later, they were ready to unveil it to the public, and they renamed it Google. The Google generation has experienced the world in a way that no previous generation ever has. All of your lives, you have seen information available at the touch of your fingers. News, information, and entertainment have always been on, 24/7. Before your generation, there was no Wi-Fi, there was no Bluetooth, there was no mobile internet. You're absolutely accustomed to having your media move with you. I have to tell you, it's a tradition for a commencement speaker at this stage to tell his audience, you are about to change the world. There's no need for that. You have already changed the world. You changed the world when you decided that free was the very best price for something. That meant sites like YouTube would do very well, but candidly, it also meant that illegal downloading would take its toll on the recording industry. You changed the world when you decided that the most efficient way to communicate was with your thumbs, and that traditional grammar and spelling would only slow you down. You changed the world with your early adoption of MySpace, Facebook, and more recently Snapchat and social networking, bringing new meaning to the word community. This is a generation that has changed the way the entire world looks at media, information, and communication. But here's what truly sets you apart. You place a special value on immediacy, and you want to be in touch all the time. In touch with your friends, in touch with your community, in touch with your world. You see your neighborhood as much more than the houses on your block. You value the news and views of people you've never met, who may be half a world away. Global communications is second nature to you. So now we come to the heart of every commencement speech ever given. We've established that you're special. With an unprecedented technology, gift, and awareness of interactive communication. But now we have to ask the question, given that you're special, what are you going to do with that gift? Well, let me suggest that a singular path of progress can come from your generation coupling your extraordinary digital and social media skills with principles forged by the very first generation of Americans. When the U.S. Constitution was ratified in 1789, the American people insisted on a companion document. You know it as the Bill of Rights. They insisted on freedom of speech and freedom of press. And they did that not for entertainment or amusement, but because they saw the free flow of ideas as being critical to democracy. They knew that if Americans could express themselves, be themselves, and stand up for what they believed, this would be a more perfect union. Let's be honest, the Founding Fathers didn't get things exactly right back in 1776. They didn't abolish slavery. They didn't give women an equal voice or vote. But over time, Americans used their freedom of speech to right wrongs and ensure that this nation lived up to its promises of liberty, justice, and equality for all. But there's work left to be done. This great nation can be greater still. And yet there are days when America's internal polarization and political differences seem to paralyze us, when polarization trumps progress. But that does not have to be the path ahead. You can change the path ahead. You demand authenticity and integrity in your music and your culture. Don't sell yourself short by accepting anything less than your sources of news and information. You know, there are some who say they get their news by reading blogs from the left and blogs from the right and find the truth in the middle. With all due respect, when you read distortion from the left and distortion from the right, you just double the distortion. You are the most coveted marketing target in the world. Young, smart people with credit cards. That means the world is paying attention to you. And just as past generations have used the power of communication to make this a more perfect union, you have the clout and capability to move the nation in a very positive way. You can demand substance over sensationalism. You can demand perspective over polarity. The dynamic tools of digital media entertain and amuse us endlessly 24/7. But they can also empower us to take on the nation's challenges with unprecedented vibrancy, immediacy, and reach. Just imagine Thomas Jefferson with a Twitter account. It would be awesome. You can use the extraordinary tools you have. You can use the newest tools to tackle America's oldest challenges. And one more thing I'd like to share. Please remember where you came from. You can be proud of graduating from this fine high school in this remarkable community. Peggy and I left York 42 years ago, but our memories of those 4 years remain vivid and vibrant. Your high school years and the next few will not only affect what you'll do for a living, but they'll also dramatically affect who you'll be as a person. I can remember interviewing President Ronald Reagan in the Oval Office of the White House in 1987. And as we sat down that day, he was making conversation. He said, where are you from? I said, Elmhurst, Illinois. Elmhurst, he said. His eyes lit up. He got visibly excited. And then the most powerful man in the world proceeded to tell me all about his football game playing for Eureka College at Elmhurst College in 1931. I couldn't stop him. Any questions about politics or policy would have to wait. And they waited for about 20 minutes. But as I left the White House that day, I remember thinking to myself, why that memory? Why such a vivid recall of a game 56 years earlier? It turns out, I learned later, it wasn't about the game. The night before the game, as the Eureka College team tried to check into an Elmhurst hotel, the two black players who were on Reagan's team were turned away because of the color of their skin. Young Ronald Reagan, relatively fresh out of high school himself, was not going to leave his friends out in the cold. He drove his teammates all the way back to his hometown, Dixon, Illinois, where they stayed at his family home before returning for the game. Those moments early on, like the moment that Ronald Reagan faced as a very young man, are the ones that will test your values and challenge you to discover what you really stand for. They will shape the rest of your life. Today, you are literally walking into a world of opportunity, and whether you end up as a journalist or judge, artist or architect, politician or poet, engineer or educator, please pursue those dreams with a passion and a commitment to doing the right thing. From a delighted graduate of the class of 1972, my heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2014. Make us proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paulson. Superintendent Pernod, at this time, it is my honor to certify to you that the students sitting before you have met all of the graduation requirements for the York High School diploma, and it is now my pleasure to present to you the class of 2014.
Congratulations. I wish the audience was here looking out at my view right now, because this sea of green is extremely impressive. Visually, it's stunning. But what is really impressive are the students and the seniors that are sitting there before you. They are an outstanding class. They have been leaders, have shown compassion. I have been with them in their classes and walk in the hallways. And I can tell you, parents, grandparents, and guests, they are just great young people. They are exceptional. And whatever's in the water, whatever happened here, will continue through the rest of their lives. And that makes me very proud and as part of this district. I will tell you, I am finishing my 40th year in education. Yes, I'm an old guy. But I can tell you the criticism that classes and students are not getting any better is simply not true. In those 40 years, every time I come to a graduation, I am evenly more impressed with the accomplishments that students do on a routine basis. And I think as adults sometimes we take that for granted. I think we just kind of ho-hum and say, well, that's not that hard. Believe me, it is. In this fast-paced world, with media bombarding them constantly, with different voices, these students have still found the right way to go about their lives. And I have every confidence they will continue to do that. I also want to take a moment and recognize the adults that spent time and energy to make a difference with these young people. Could I ask all our employees of Elmhurst 205 to stand up? And audience, could you please give them a round of applause? I think just like students today, the people who touch the lives of young people often go unrecognized. So I would hope that sometime in the next few months, graduates, when you get a chance, take the time to send a letter, send an email, but thank someone from the faculty that really made a difference. They don't get a lot of recognition. They don't get accolades, but I can tell you the best accolade they will ever get is if you go back and say thank you. So on behalf of Elmhurst 205, I am proud to accept this class. I will now turn the class to the Board of Education, who ultimately accepts the graduates. Let me introduce the Board of Education. Jim Collins, President. Shannon Ebner, Vice President. Karen Stufen, Secretary. John McDonough, Trustee. Margaret Harrell, Trustee. Emily Bastido, Trustee. And finally, speaking for the board today and accepting the recognition of this class is Trustee Chris Bloom. Chris?
Thank you, Principal Smith and Superintendent Purnell. There's an old saw in public speaking that you never want to follow the president or the pope. I have a few names I want to add to that list today. You guys are amazing. So on behalf of the Elmhurst Community Unit School District 205 Board of Education, administration, teachers, and staff, I'd like to congratulate the class of 2014 on successfully meeting the prescribed requirements for graduation from York Community High School. Okay, so what do prescribed requirements mean for those of us who don't spend our time reading the policy manual? Well, in a nutshell, prescribed requirements are the minimum you have to do to graduate. They mean you have successfully gotten yourself out of bed, thank goodness for late start Wednesdays. You've made it to school despite polar vortex conditions. You've found your way to the right classroom, and you do have to admit to at least a little anxiety at the 8th grade walkthrough. You've participated in class, thanks to an occasional pick-me-up from the smoothie lady, I'm sure. You've completed your homework. Now, aren't you glad they won't have Power School in college? And you've passed a bunch of tests and quizzes, including the state-mandated Constitution test, which deserves a special hat tip to your middle school social studies teachers. So congratulations on your success. But my guess is that when you reflect back on your time at York, success in just meeting the prescribed requirements won't be what sticks out in your mind. Your most vivid memories will be of the significant experiences you had with your classmates, teachers, teammates, clubmates, family, and community. You will particularly remember the significant impact others had on you, and you will be particularly proud of the significant impact you had on others. You might remember experiences like the teacher that cared enough to come in early to help you prepare for a big AP test, the dean that gave you a hug on challenge day, the student ambassador who pointed you to the right classroom for your freshman English class, the cute girl who asked you to turnabout, or the cute guy that asked you to homecoming. The time that you and your friends stayed up all night raising money for Relay to Life, for Life. The lives you touched while volunteering for Access Sports. And let's not forget your parents who carted you around until you finally got your driver's license. The point is, while your success may be defined by personal accomplishments, your significance is measured by your impact on others. And therein lies the challenge to you as you leave York and go forward into college, profession, and community. I have no doubt you will be successful in whatever you put your mind to, but how significant will your impact be? Achieving significance comes from sharing time, talent, and treasure. As I hope you have discovered during your time here at York, each of us has different talents and capabilities which enable us to have an impact in our own way. Significance can mean something as simple and individually impactful as FaceTiming from college to help your little brother with an algebra problem. Or it can be as complex and globally impactful as inventing the next Google or YouTube. Both are significant in their own way. So as you think about how you will make your impact, I have a few ideas. You can invent something, like York grad Dr. Peter Holbrook, who developed procedures to treat critically ill older children and created a whole pediatric subcategory. In 1962, he was a York senior sitting where you are. You can start a company and create jobs, like York grad Ken Paulson, who we recently heard from. As you heard, he was a founding editor of USA Today, which today employs thousands and is read by millions. Mr. Paulson's career began as the editor of our very own York High newspaper. You can educate and mentor, like our teachers, staff, and administrators who have dedicated their careers to having an impact on young minds. You can volunteer, like Dr. John Baumrucker, another distinguished York alum. A successful medical doctor, Dr. Baumrucker and his wife spent 15 years building schools, clinics, and homes in Bolivia. You can donate, like those in the Elmhurst community who so generously share their success with our charitable organizations. But most importantly, though, you can be there for others. Each of you has had a significant impact on us as you've grown. As you move on to the next stage in your life, please don't forget to come home and visit your mother. Wait, whose mom stole my notes? But seriously though, for a friend in need, a coworker having a tough day, or a grandparent you haven't seen in a while, just taking the time to care can have an immense impact. And for many of those who become parents someday, just being there is one of the most valuable things you can give your kids. So in closing, I would like to challenge each of you to make your impact the true measure of your accomplishment. I wish you all much success in your life ahead, but most importantly, I wish you all much significance. Thank you and congratulations.
Hey, all right. Before I start today, I'm going to take this hat off. I move my head around a lot. It'll get distracting. All right. Well, guys, this is it. And I don't know about you, but I'm freaking out a little bit. We're finally graduating. You know, I've always dreamed of standing up here on this stage, of being the voice of my classmates, the voice of my age. And so year after year, I have mapped out a speech of what I would say, of what I would preach. Freshman year, timid, humbled, and alone. My awkward body stuck in a whole new zone, the brick and mortar totally unknown. And how we thought we knew it all after exploring every hall, learning every wall, and seeing our very first brawl. And so when I dreamed of this day, I knew just what I'd say. Guys, hey guys, this is it, and I'm freaking out a little bit. We're finally graduating. We've worked through the banal, pointless, and agitating. We've met all these great new people within this educational steeple, and we've learned all this cool new stuff. And yeah, sure, it might have been a little rough, and some of it might have been fluff, but hey, we did it. Sure enough. It's a little naive, don't you think? But I mean, what'd you expect from a bunch of posers dressed in pink? And looking back, I think that there is something beautiful in that time glossed over and matte, where we could actually act the brat, where we could sit around and idly chat, where it didn't really matter quite what we excelled at. And yeah, sure, we were totally oblivious, sheltered and protected, time quite niveous. But we'll never get something like that again, that careless singing in the rain. Now, sophomore year got pretty real for me. Life spun mercilessly around, and all I could do was flee. There was darkness in my life, slicing and dicing me up, a spiteful knife. I became bitter and hardened, a crotchety old man at the tender age of 15. I pushed my friends away, I dressed in gray, I resented cliche, I wrote this essay and made that display, but I threw away each and every day. I molded a whole new life out of clay, a world within myself where silence could lay, where my reality could sit and decay. So in my gloomy slumber, I pictured this day, and I knew just what I'd say. Well, guys, this is it, and I don't know about you, but I'm freaking out a little bit. Our average life expectancy is 78.7 years, and if I use some of that math that drove me to tears, high school is only 6% of our lives, and so I highly doubt if every memory even survives. That honey to your right that you look upon with delight, those first adventures out late at night where everything was bright, they're all nothing but a sound bite. No one's time here was perfectly great. That's the very nature of our unstable fate, but I think that there is something beautiful in that. In working through and working at. Bob Ross once said that much like life, a painting must have both the dark and the light. In sorrow we must endure, for only then do we see the signs of happiness's cure. Junior year retreated and hollowed, in philosophical musings I wallowed. Every week was a brand new book with a brand new way to deal with the vile gobbledygook. In Nietzsche I found my solace. In nihilism I found what was flawless. This whole thing, it's nothing. So when I thought of this day, I knew just what I'd say. Well, guys, this is it. And I don't know about you, but I'm freaking out a little bit. When I reflect on this adventure, I think of a simile of another business that thrives on facsimile. Professional wrestling, WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, TNA, total nonstop action. Is high school not just like their dramatized stage, a place so fake and surreal, yet impossible to turn the page? Does it really matter who is seeing who? If their car is old or new? If that friendship fell through and whether or not they intend to begin anew? No! It doesn't really matter, but we thrive on the chatter, and I think that there is something beautiful in that. In the gossip that scurries round like a rat. Our meanness is actually quite genius. Through what has been said about me and what I have said about others, I have learned to accept my peers as brothers. Well, guys, this is it. And I don't know about you, but I'm freaking out a little bit. When we walk out today, when we uncertain step, we must keep our heads held high. We must show respect. These hallways have seen us at our best and at our worst. Everything we'll do, we did here first. We figured out which staircase leads where. We've been scolded for what we can and cannot wear. We've all felt the afternoon atrium glare and learned that throwing poop is a pretty foolish dare. We've all had friendships tear. We've seen the perfect pair hit a snare, and we've seen the freshmen shrink, an epidemic, I swear. And while this whole thing is only a meager 6%, we cannot forget all that we have underwent. The anxiety, nativity, and wide-eyed wonder, the depression, the angst, the heartache, the chit-chat, the gossip, the banter, the lethargy, the community, and the unrestrained. There is beauty in our mistakes, a point I keep on repeating. There is beauty in cheating, beauty in competing, beauty in retreating, and beauty in folk greeting, but most of all, there is beauty in completing. We're the class of 2014, masters of art, academics, and cuisine, masters of revolution, pie, and machine. We're better than the obscene, finally done with the unforeseen, finally done with our respective dean. We're ready to create a brand new life-changing vaccine, to develop a whole new strain of coffee bean, to break out of this routine, to no longer demean, to become a proud Marine. We're ready to pull the lever of life's grand slot machine, to shed this teen and release the inner Wolverine. We're the class of 2014, and we're the best damn class you've ever seen.
want to. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become way back when, way back when. The earth keeps turning, the light keeps shifting, and I keep holding on. The earth keeps turning, the light keeps shifting, and I keep holding on. Growing up again. The earth keeps turning, keeps shifting, and I keep holding on. The earth keeps turning, the light keeps shifting, and I keep holding on. The earth keeps turning, the light keeps shifting, and I keep holding on. The earth keeps turning, keeps turning, keeps shifting, and I keep holding on.
I keep holding
Holding on. The earth keeps turning, the light keeps shifting, and I keep holding on. Oh, oh,
Jason Robert Munoz. Brian James Abel.
Marcelo Noah Zuniga.
Sean Roan.
Joseph Rocco Zamaya.
Vera Elizabeth Abreu.
Claudia Zerden.
Lauren Nicole Mayer.
Zachary Adam Zars.
Lauren Nicole Meyer.
Alyssa Rose Zamaripa.
Alyssa Marie Adam.
Adam R. Zader.
Kimberly Adame.
Mark Daniel Young.
Taylor Nicole Adams.
Matthew Young.
Moses Kalel Aguilar.
Connor Andrew York.
Dominic Aguina.
Brian Yohannan.
Genevieve Ahern.
Pavel Alexandrovich Yevdesh.
Ali Ahmed.
Drew Allen Yazdick.
Ituro Akpakpan.
Jessica Marie Yako.
Alex William Albers.
Evan Allen Wyman.
Cody Mariano Elamorong.
Cody Brian Wurst.
Cooper Joe Elamorong.
Paige Elizabeth Rossi.
Ryan Robert Allen.
Michelle Catherine Wozni.
Christopher Almazan.
Timothy Michael Worley.
Desi Brandon Alvarez.
Harrison Edward Wolf.
Elizabeth Amon.
Brian Wise.
Julian Alessandro Andrade.
Anna Marguerite Worth.
Matthew Jordan Arce.
Haley Winker.
Kathleen Armstrong.
Donna Wilston.
Matthew Arneri.
Randy Morgan Wilson.
Amirani Ayala.
Dylan William Rutz.
Catherine Michaela Backman.
Ashley Elise Williams.
Cruz Valderrama.
Emma Lenora Williams.
Alexis Barbado.
Jeraniqua Monet Williams.
Thomas Barrett.
Max McLeod Weirsom.
Diana Barwetta.
Sean Widener.
Alexander Ray Bashkawi.
Jessica Whitmore.
Sabrina Bath.
Alexandra Marie Wheatland.
Grace Mary Janet Baumgartner.
Sarah Elizabeth Wessler.
Saskia Baez.
Evan Carl Wendell.
Nina Elizabeth Bell.
Claudia Rose Weirman.
Jenna Claire Berg.
Colin James Weigel.
Christopher Dave Berg.
Marcus Watkins.
Julia Louise Biegler.
Kirsty Rita Warren.
Matthew Bruce Bindeman.
Aaron Ward.
Laura Catherine Bingham.
Michaela Walters.
Catherine Burchak.
Emmett Michael Walsh.
Scott Edward Blazak Jr.
Carrie Walker.
Caitlin Klatt Bloom.
Britta Danielle Wakenight.
Michelina Bomer.
Jeffrey Summers Wagner.
Megan Jo Bagolia.
Taylor Ann Varell.
Jason Bowles.
Antonetta Vigilante.
Kylie Joy Bowman.
Mariana Vidovich.
Benjamin James Clark Brisson.
Anthony James Videkas.
Perry Brinkmeyer.
Hope Naomi Beavers.
Paul Broadbent.
Javier Vega Jr.
Alec Jeffrey Bruns.
Matthew Vachaparambo.
Nicole Budgel.
Christina Uribe.
Bijan Bug.
Jacob Andrew Tyler.
Dylan Byrne.
Alana Grace Turner.
Jasmine Caban.
Eric Tufty.
Hannah Elizabeth Cadigan.
Melissa Trujillo.
Keenan Thomas Cahill.
Philomena Trianello.
Callegero Angelo Calderoni.
Kayla Jean Triska.
Casey Stephen Callens.
Sarah Catherine Torty.
Adam Camp.
Emma Margaret Trapani.
Vincent Canetti.
Julie Marie Toomey.
Mickey Capek.
John Francis Toohey.
Alexis Jordan Karani.
Jane Elizabeth Tolliver.
Omar Carbajal.
Cole Thomas TJ.
Meredith Sienna Monica Carbonetti.
Laura Thorson.
Carrie Grace Carlquist.
Jillian Alexandra Thielen.
Sandra Catalano.
Jake Telkamp.
Elena Christine Cease.
Celine Taylor.
Christina Sapero.
Lauren Page Tam.
Jade Marie Sarasoli.
Anna Marie Talamo.
Elandra Chaidez.
Luke Joseph Swanson.
Justin Cuttaville Chandy.
John Christopher Sullivan.
Alida Teresa Chowe.
Amanda Nicole Succi.
Sheena Chrysostom.
Nicole Marie Strakowski.
Daniel Joseph Cerrone.
Michael Strammel.
Eileen Mary Clark.
Rebecca Ann Stott.
Carly Clegg.
Allison Elizabeth Stockcliffe.
Nick Kosick.
Jacob Stigmeyer.
Jennifer Ann Coffin.
Crystal Stewart.
Jacqueline Elizabeth Connor.
Maxwell David Stewart.
Kevin Richard Conway.
Matthew David Stevenson.
Grace Conwell.
Kayla Elizabeth Stefaner.
Sydney Christina Cook.
Kyle Joseph Stearns.
Edith Alejandra Correll Mendoza.
Kaylee Lauren Starr.
Melissa Cosaleon.
Luke Squire.
Daniel Costello.
Olivia Barbara Spaeth.
Justin Anton Cox.
Caroline Marie Sorrentino.
Lucas Craggs.
Nicole Michelle Sorcy.
Caitlin Anna Creed.
Blake Jeffrey Sokoloff.
Ashley Crisanto.
Allison Elizabeth Smith.
Jack Cronin.
Allison Rose Smith.
Cameron Cross.
Reed William Smith.
Connor Crowell.
Victoria Diane Smith.
Raquel Olivia Cuevas.
Parker Elaine Smart.
Francis Cuomo.
Jeffrey Allen Sloma.
Julian Louis Kuyu.
Bryce Matthew Simpson.
Michael Dalrymple.
Joshua William Simpson.
Jeremy Damer.
Camille Elizabeth Simper.
Darren James David.
Emily Marlene Simo.
Megan Nicole Davidson.
Anne Marie Siraki.
Colin Wendell Davis.
Lamia Sadiki.
Megan DeBernardis.
Takato Shigatomi.
Jake Ryan DeBosher.
James Sheehan.
Kristen Nicole Delahanty.
Kevin Sheehan.
William Delaney.
Lisa Marie Scarbosa.
Patrick Nicholas Delgado.
Amy Serrano.
Eric Matthew Dennis.
Joao Isai Sepulveda.
Emily Sue Derwin.
Michael Sinise.
Danielle DeSalvo.
David Saitaj.
Sydney Deuter.
Samantha Seaton.
Kevin Dever.
Christina Lee Schumacher.
Jennifer Carol DeVries.
Benjamin Schrenker.
Alexandra DeCanio.
Stephen James Schmuel.
Anne Elizabeth DeCanio.
William Bruno Schlemmel.
Natalie Rose DeCiani.
Molly Patrice Schlecht.
Jennifer Dickert.
Jake Kyle Schellberger.
Christian Diebold.
Angela Scalzetti.
Luis Aldair Diego Barrera.
Veronica Santoyo.
Dominique Gabriela Demena.
Anthony Marcus Santos.
Nora Dakoff.
Jordan Anthony Santiago.
Brianna Ryan Dolan.
Navgeet Sandhu.
Annalise Dorf.
Jose Joshua Sanchez.
Andrew Douglas.
Alejandra Salinas.
Alexandra Alyssa Dorlane.
Jacqueline Salgado.
Adriana Doyle.
Vanessa Dawn Saldana.
Grace Driggs.
Paul Defensor Salamanca.
Matthew Druffel.
Marlena Natalie Sandowitz.
Emily Catherine Ducey.
Ryan Joseph Sacco.
Joseph Hunter Duda.
Amy Brazuco.
Bridget Dunn.
Brendan Michael Ryan.
Jacob Matthew Dvorak.
Mary Catherine Ryan.
Seth Christopher Dvorak.
Paul Thomas Rummage.
William Economos.
Katie Quinn Rudenga.
Olivia Marie Emmerich.
Elizabeth Ann Radakis.
Patrick Robert Eslick.
Graham James Mannion Rowe.
Alexandra Espino.
Henry Patrick Roth.
William John Etheridge.
Jarrett Rossiano.
Catherine Jane Evans.
Michael Carmi Ross.
Madison Rose Fifinski.
Sydney June Rosen.
Patrick Falkenberg.
Troy Rosenberry.
Joshua Ryan Farrar.
Charles William Rose.
Jackson Farrow.
Angelica Gina Rosada.
Jacqueline Chinglan Feckner.
James Brick Rogers.
Logan Hunter Feely.
Marcela Rodriguez.
Kelly Lauren Fendley.
Matthew James Rodriguez.
Maria Isabel Fernandez.
Brianne Robinson.
Lauren Elizabeth Furtick.
Stanley Roberts.
Alexis Fedone.
Jaylene Rivera.
Brooks Michael Fiedler.
Juliana Marie Reinhofer.
Maggie Finan.
Matthew Joseph Rare.
Thomas Fisher.
Maggie Kathleen Reagan.
Audrey Ann Fisher.
Wilson Zachary Ray.
Austin Veit.
Dominic Ravenna.
Noah Fleckenstein.
Emily Rathbone.
Alex Joseph Flores.
Kirsten Morgan Rasnick.
Jillian Rebecca Forbes.
Gianna Christine Randazzo.
Christian Lee Foster Davis.
Adrian Ramos.
James Foster.
Chelsea Jean Rambo.
Analia Fowler.
Carly Judith Ralston.
Gloria Anna Frank.
Jamie Ramondi.
Patrick David Franks.
Paul Peter Rafek IV.
Alexander Francis.
Joseph Matthew Puthenparakel.
Kimberly Ann Fritsch.
Riley Russ Perper.
Emily Fry.
Ella Shanice Punzalan.
Jeremy Daniel Fuller.
Jake Alexander Pulver.
Kylie Maureen Fuller.
Michelle Monica Polar Canal.
Tegan Eileen Fuller.
James Cordell Pucala.
Joshua Thomas Gabrielson.
Kyle Austin Preuss.
Jennifer Garcia.
Kelly Primo.
Amanda Jean Garlow.
Emily Potvin.
Chancey Trey Garrett.
Roy Richard Potter.
Kevin Gashorek.
Daniel Henry Posley.
Brent Gasparich.
Blair Porter.
Nicholas Strike Gaudio.
Jack Pulte.
Liam Patrick Gaughan.
Alexis Monique Pitts.
Christina Faye Gall.
Don Jameson Pittman.
Vincent Joseph Genthe.
Peter John Pisa Jr.
Jennifer Gentile.
Madeline Peterson.
Andrew Dedinas Gioli.
Beatrice Perez.
Heather Ann George.
Jordan Rose Perez.
Domenico Gianni.
Liliana Perez.
Tyler Clayton Gibbish.
Matthew Thomas Penning.
Sandra Carla Gill.
Sydney Ellen Pena.
Ryan Hubert Joseph Glatzik.
Vincent Pasquale Paluso.
Kristen Gleason.
Alexander Edward Pedoti.
Caroline Margaret Gannett.
Sinisa Pavlovic.
Mitchell Gazy.
Eric Joseph Lunt Patterson.
Enrique Gomez Medina.
Michael Pasternak.
Gregory James Gornick.
Nikki Ann Pesares.
Sophie Lee Goff.
Alexa Paskoff.
Margaret Elizabeth Grassi.
Travis Wayne Parr.
Jacob Graziano.
Charles Perro.
Zachary Gronke.
George Zachariah Parial.
Daniela Greenfield.
Taylor Pankow.
Allison Christina Grosh.
James Joseph Pagney.
Luke Guerreri.
Marcos Dylan Pablo.
Liam Vincent Gainan.
Rebecca Sarah Overend.
Julio Cesar Gutierrez.
Charlene Alexis Otero.
Brian Guzman.
Jeffrey Gerard Ostling.
Sebastian Lino Guzman.
Nipa Onkananuwank.
Liam Thomas Hagan.
Kevin O'Neill.
Catherine Alexis Hagstrom.
Tara Joy Olson.
Jeffrey Payne.
Meredith Helene O'Leary.
Lamont Javel Hampton.
Cormac O'Halloran.
Jacob Hanish.
Anna Marie O'Donnell.
Joseph Hansel.
Michael Joseph O'Connell.
Andrew Hardy.
Annabelle Ocon.
Neha Paredes.
Andres E. Ochoa.
Joshua Harley.
Niall Patrick O'Brien.
Joseph Douglas Harmon.
Kathleen Virginia O'Brien.
Samantha Ann Harrell.
Delana May Obermeyer.
Connor Michael Harrington.
Jacqueline Miranda Nugent.
Theodore Rodolfo Harold.
Amy Christine Nosek.
Megan Hartley.
Jeffrey David Nosek.
Syed Imar Hassan.
Hannah Marion Nolte.
Amanda Pearl Hassler.
Indira Nogady.
Jack Hayes.
Jeffrey Thomas Knorr, Jr.
Ariana Hayes.
Amy Nikitas.
Alexander Jeffrey Hecker.
Matthew Alec Niviera.
Samantha Jean Heiberger.
Kelsey Marie Newell.
Alec Hine.
Ashley Ariel Navarez.
John Heinley.
Natalie Marie Nelson.
Joseph S. Helton.
Lonnie Denzel Naylor.
Naveen Hanine.
Crosby Muth.
Callahan Shannon Hennessy.
Hassan Murtaza.
Daniel Ernest Harity.
Tyler Scott Murphy.
Katia Michelle Herrera.
Annabelle Murillo.
Jarvis Hill.
Javier Munoz Jr.
Mary Rose Henchley.
William Raymond Muno.
Ebony Hines.
Nathan Moroz.
Israel Hida.
Stephen F. Mrozinski.
Lindsay Hoagland.
Martin Niaz Movag.
Jacob Zale Hadenbach.
Allie Catherine Moskal.
Stephanie Nicole Hofel.
Sarah Morrissey.
Nicholas Hoffman.
Edgar Morfin.
Jessica Hogan.
Kelly Megan Mordini.
Alyssa Marie Homan.
Krishna Alicia Morales Chu.
Colin Robert Homan.
Alexander F. Moore.
Max Holmes.
Ernesto Noel Montañez Garcia.
Bartholomew Thomas Hope.
Rebecca Maria Monaco.
Dylan Horn.
Matthew Malayo.
Patrick Howard.
Hina Mohammed.
Kaylin Huang.
Mohammed Yahya Mirza.
William Martin Hubert.
Andrew Hayner Moranti.
Megan Hull.
Mitchell Miner.
Bryn Hund.
Kelsey Mary Mills.
Peter Earhart Hunt.
Zechariah Miller.
Sebastian David Hurtado.
James Militello.
Syed Assad Hussein.
Carolyn Marie Myers.
Ian Aimundo.
Lauren Myers.
Rama Simone Ingram.
Madeline Rose Meyer.
David Ireland.
Farzad Merchant.
Louisa May Ishida.
Elizabeth Mary Mendrala.
Tristan Izzo.
Jessica Mendrala.
Danielle Ann Jabzinski.
Anthony Michael Mendoza.
Mark Anthony Jacobo.
Joshua James Melody Pizzato.
Syed Shajodin Ahmed Jagardar.
Morgan Elizabeth Meering.
Christian James.
Michael Daniel Meenan.
Frank Janko.
Monica Marie Medina.
Megan Jankovic.
Lindsay Ann Medema.
Erica C. Jans.
Rachel Metters.
Ashik Jayakumar.
Caitlin McNally.
Daniel Jimenez.
Molly Bridget McMahon.
Jairo Jimenez.
Isaac Ali McKinley.
Sarah Rosemay Johnson.
Scott Allen McKay.
Janitha Rose Jomi.
Amanda McGowan.
Jacine Joseph.
Corey Daniel McGovern.
Nebo Joseph.
Matthew John McCracken.
Anna Maria Yuvan.
Emmett Daniel McCoy.
Christopher Chandler Ketcherubis.
Kelsey McCarville.
Anna Coletta.
Megan Elizabeth McCarthy.
Colin Kaminsky.
John Paul Mazzocco.
Steve Anthony Candithel.
Thomas Andrew Mayfield.
Nathaniel Zachary Kapazinski.
Dominic Morella.
Efrosini A. Carabellis.
Kyle John Mattis.
Daniel Robert Castolm Jr.
Timothy Matsis.
Sarah Kegler.
Adrian Manuel Mato.
Catherine Ann Kent.
Nicholas John Makovic.
Joseph Kesslering.
Daniel Louis Mastranuzzi.
Joseph Michael Kilgallen.
Victor Alfonso Martinez.
Dayton Kimbark.
Samantha Nicole Martin.
Dominica Yochek.
Marissa Ann Marshall.
Anna Kirschbaum.
Gabriel Augusto Marrero.
Giovanna Kish.
Michael Marino.
Suzanne Klapoff.
Meredith Catherine Maristich.
Christian Anthony Claus.
Alyssa Ann Manning.
Sarah Marie Knighton.
Riley Mann.
Mary Margaret Cook.
Rachel Maniola.
Kiera Keppen.
Lauren Grace Maloney.
Alexander F. Kolick.
Jillian Samantha Maher.
Amanda Cora.
Noah Lewis Mack.
Jennifer Korolev.
Sean Lyons.
Christopher Kosapati.
Jacob Andrew Lukasik.
Paul Cresson.
Michaela Ray Lucky.
Emma Jean Chrissinger.
Yasmin Lotfi.
Ryan Hunter Kubich.
Jake Lasurdo.
Nicole Marie Kubisa.
Jason Lopez.
Justin Kudalow.
Caroline Hartman Lofredo.
Andrew Kunish.
Brian William Lipkin.
Natish Kurian.
John Francis Lindsay.
Amy Landenberger.
Jake Robert Lichty.
Elizabeth Ann Larson.
Alexandra Nicole Lewis.
Hannah Lynn Latimer.
Roman Joseph Lewis.
Gina Carol Leali.
Julia Ray Levin.
Michelle Elizabeth Lebecki.
Nicholas Leone.
Desiree Natasha Lekowitz.
Micheline Mary Leonard.
Benjamin Leffley.
Michelle Leonard.
Kathleen Lagutke.
Colleen Patricia Lehrer.
It is my pleasure to present the class of 2014.
Visit elmhurst.org to explore the new City of Elmhurst website. Find out the latest Elmhurst news, pay utility bills and parking tickets, report concerns, and much more. Elmhurst.org is an ideal way to discover what Elmhurst offers your business, your family, your life.